Can you guys hear me? Everybody good to go? Okay.
Yes.
I just certainly extremely proud of our football team. I just thought it was a unbelievable gut check on their part, and just we talk about hanging in there and playing for each other, and that's what it took. Took everybody on our team to get it done. You know, a game of so many roller coaster humps and hills. I couldn't even begin to go back through some of them, and you know, I think you got to give them some credit, but I think sometimes we're our own worst enemy, and that's something we got to continue to get better at. You know, certainly made it much more challenging than it already was just by some of our mistakes. But again, just really proud. It took everybody. You know, we made some plays in the kicking game. You know, got the first fumble out. Obviously, gave up the punt return, missed tackles, and then, you know, defensively, obviously continued to play well. You know, we gave up some big plays that certainly we don't want to give up. But at the end of the day, when we had to get stops, we did, and we had to score points, we did, and we found a way to get it won in overtime. And again, just really proud of our football team. Okay, with that, any questions?
Coach, can you just kind of put into words Hamp System's fourth quarter after what had been a pretty rough day up to that point?
Yeah, you know what, Scott, I think part of us is we're still trying to figure out a little bit who we are. You know, I told our team after the game, you know, just Hamp, certainly the last week, you know, the number of hits he had taken, and just hung in there and even had a chance to pull it out in the last drive last week, and then just kind of resilient. I mean, I know there's a lot of things he wants to correct. We need to get corrected, need to continue to find ways to help him. But again, just can't, I mean, that's who he is, you know, just character. And, you know, we talk about, you know, just the culture we have. And I mean, I think if it ever showed, it showed today. It'd be hard for anybody to come back in that situation that we were in. And, you know, I kept counting different numbers, go for 2, don't go for 2, 11, and it was 14. And I think it was 17 at one time. And, you know, we just kept trying to play the next play. And Hamp's been certainly a great leader for us.
Can you just talk about the play call that set up the game tying score? You kind of got their defense all on one side of the field. I believe you started out the drive with a running play, and then came back to that play. Could you just describe that a little bit?
I guess you're talking about the little throwback screen there to Ryan.
Right.
Yeah, you know, something we had practiced. In fact, I think Hamp will tell you, Coach Quarles chewed him out. We ran against our defense kind of in a pretty live situation this week, and he didn't get enough air on it. And Parker Stokes, who's not the tallest guy, got his hand on it. Ran again later and obviously executed well. You know, it's funny, we threw that against them in 2017, our first year. I don't know if it was at the end of the half or end of the game. Threw it to Andy Shumpert. It was a big play then. We didn't score. But obviously great call by Coach Quarles. And at the end of the day, calls are really good, but they're only as good as you can go execute them. And then, you know, having a guy like Ryan Miller as a tight end, who's a guy that, how many tight ends could take that one to the house? You know, it was open for a really good play. I can't say it was wide open for a touchdown, you know, and so his ability turned it from a good play to a touchdown.
Hey, Coach, you talked about the ups and downs today. Can you just describe that feeling when you realized your defense had gotten the stop and it was over?
That was a pretty good feeling. You know, I sit there, I saw the ball come out. I knew the ball was out. I knew there was no question it was a fumble. And it looked like to me initially one of our guys was going to catch it in the air. And the next thing he didn't, and it was loose. And, you know, you just try to watch your players and see their reaction. There wasn't a lot of reaction initially. And then a couple of guys started, you know, celebrating. And then I think the rule says anytime a play, you know, a game-ending play, they're going to review it. So I had no question it was out now. And I didn't know who got it, but I heard him say, "Now Callie was standing up with it. He already had it." So I felt like that point in time it was, we were going to win the football game. But boy, just really proud of our offense. You know, taking that. You know, we lost the toss, got the ball, and we scored 2 plays. And then defensively, you know, got the penalty against us. I guess they had it, first and goal to 5, and to come up with that play. And again, it's to sit here and say it was not a relief, I'd be lying. But it is, it's a pretty good feeling, you know, that your kids hung in there and fought and found a way. And, you know, we found a way to beat a good football team, and we can play a lot better, and we're going to have to. And I just think that's got to be our focus, you know, going forward.
Coach, have you ever been happier with a call that went against you as that video review that made it 2nd and 1, where your defense stuffed them all 2nd and 1, then 3rd and 1, and they punted?
Well, yeah, I guess it turned out pretty good for us. You know, it's funny. We had the screen last week that they overturned as well, which I still, you know, it was about the same thing. They said the guy had a foot behind the line when the linemen were downfield. You know, I was ready because it was going to be 3rd and long. And I said, okay, if we could get a stop here, we'd use a timeout. Because I really thought we were going to go down and get a chance at least to kick a field goal to try to win it. But boy, so I guess it was 2nd and 1, 3rd and 1, and those guys just kept coming. You know, like I said, the game had so many plays, you kind of forget about them, you know, and we'll go back and relive them. And certainly our defense continued to step up for us in a big way.
What are the biggest things you want to see Hamp improve on going forward?
Well, I think, you know, I thought we protected great today. I think maybe I may be wrong. The last, but Tom might have been the only time he got hit, you know, the whole day. You know, he has a great, you know, knowledge of what we're trying to do. You know, I think, you know, probably got to get rid of the ball a little sooner sometimes, not only from a rush, just from a maybe a little late throw. I think he'll probably tell you that was the first pick six was a late throw. You know, it's just a timing thing. And again, I think we've got to continue to find ways to help him there. I thought our coaches had a really good plan today. And, you know, we saw kind of, you know, we're going to be a team that sees 8, 9 guys up there, and certainly having a chance to hit some of those balls behind them was huge today. And I think that's something we'll continue to work at and get better at. I thought our backs ran really good. And I think we had to play pretty good in the offensive line today when we go back and watch it. So, you know, Hamp's a great leader, great worker. And I just think is more, and, you know, really when you go back at the end of the day, he's still not played that much, you know, when you look at it. He's a veteran. He's probably just not a seasoned guy. I just think he's only going to continue to get better.
Coach, I think one of the guys that really made a couple of game-changing plays today, Jarius Curse. One of the times in the first half where he runs the guy down from behind and you know, off the long run. And then also the interception I thought was really a game changer right after they had gotten an interception. Just talk about those 2 plays.
Yeah, you know, the same thing about Darius. Here's a guy, I told him, you know, I think he was our player of the week last week for us. You know, didn't have Travis Blackshear today. Travis is one of our better players, we think, and had some other guys step up as well. But Darius, one of those guys, you know, he's in that first class we signed, and, you know, he's been beat up his whole career, but he stayed healthy, and, man, he competes, and he's been a really good leader for us. And obviously that play was huge. I wish we'd have taken it and gotten a touchdown. I think we ended up having to kick a field goal. But that's a couple of those plays you forget about. You know, I mean, you know, and when you go back and see it, obviously the hustle on the running the kid down. And you know, it's funny, you know, Darren's not the fastest guy on our team, you know, so I just think, you know, he can run, but I think there's a lot of want to there. And I think for him, yeah, I'm just really happy for him, you know, as a 4th-year guy, again, being in the first class. So he's played a bunch of football. But certainly those were a couple of big plays in the game.
Coach, against these 8 and 9 man fronts that you're facing, it seems like, and your offense isn't the steadiest at all times, but the steadiest member of the offense, you know, skill wise, Devin Wynn just seems to always get 3 or 4 yards every time he takes it.
He does. And, you know, if you ask Devin, he's still not getting it enough. You know, it's funny. We did talk about that there in the 3rd, you know, 4th quarter there, him and, I think all those guys ran well. I think Dominic Roberto really kind of stood out a little bit there as well. But we got a bunch of guys. We play a lot of guys at that position. I think that's something we'll continue to build upon because we need to take it. You know, Ryan DeLuca and Zach Pearson and DeJuan Bell and Ryan Miller, we've got some really good receivers. And we got to continue to keep them being a big part of our offense. Probably, no, obviously completion percentage is not what we'd like for it to be. Just got to continue to find ways to get them the ball, give them a chance to make plays.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay.
Hey, how are you doing?
Good. Can you kind of take me through that last play on defense? And it looked like a big pile up, and you came up big in the bottom of it.
Yes, sir. They just kind of ran the same thing they've been running the whole week the whole day with the two tight ends over there to the field. They ran kind of an inside zone type thing. And as far as how the ball popped out, I couldn't really tell y'all. Wasn't watching. I just saw it come up, and I saw it laying there on the floor, and I tried everything I could to go get it. So.
Callie, could you just talk about the defense, particularly in the second half? You guys were really flying around, especially the secondary. Just really, that's been an MO for this defense in the first 3 games of the season. Would you just kind of characterize your first 3 games as a defense this season?
Yes, sir. Yeah. I'd say we're just fighters. We're resilient. We don't give up on plays. We don't care what's going on either side of the ball, on special teams, none of that. I think we know what we want to do, and we know what the goal is out there. And every time we go out there, we try to do that. So.
Thanks, Kelly.
Yes, sir.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. Kind of take me through your day today. You had that first touchdown where you're kind of by yourself in the end zone, and then obviously the screen pass that you took to the house. What kind of take me through that play?
Which one? The first one or the second one?
No, the second one. The second one. Yeah.
Yeah. We've been repping it all week, practicing that play, me and Hamp. And, I knew when the opportunity came, I was going to make the best of it. And saw the defenders coming across. I just cut inside and just was gone. So.
Just talk about this offense. As the game wore on, I thought you guys got a lot more confident and seemed to like settle into a rhythm. Just talk about that as the season has progressed and really the game today progressed.
Yeah, we definitely faced some adversity, obviously, in the first quarter. But we trust our coaches, we trust our offense, we trust Hamp. He got better as the game went on. We just stuck to our game plan. And we knew our defense was going to play a great game, and we just came out and just did what we needed to do.
Ryan, this is 2 games now against teams that you handled pretty well. Last time, last season, whenever that was, 50 days ago or whatever. But the way you won this game, just the comeback and the overtime, do you think this could be like a turning point maybe that you look back on in this season?
I think so. Yeah. We had a rough game last week against VMI. Nobody expected us to lose that. And I think just coming out here, not playing great at first, we really needed that. We really needed that win. And it just shows the grit on our team, the way we came back and faced adversity. So I'm so proud of these guys. I love all of them.
Thanks, Ryan.
Thank you.
Hamp, today was I kind of asked the same question to Ryan, but it seemed like you as a quarterback seemed to gain confidence as the game went along. You started there in the fourth quarter, particularly making some of those tough throws. Just talk about the confidence you were gaining and what you were seeing that you were able to take advantage of that the Samford defense was presenting.
Yes, sir. First and foremost, I gotta play better. I got to play better in that first half. I didn't play well enough. 11 for 27 with 2 interceptions isn't going to cut it most games. So that starts with me, and I got to get better, and I got to continue to progress. But as the game went on, I think it shows a lot of the character of our team, and particularly our offense. As the game went on, we kept believing in one another. We kept trusting each other, and we knew we could do what we did. And like I said, we're going to clean up those mistakes, and we didn't have to be in the position we were in later in the game. If we had played better, we essentially offense gave the Samford 14 points with the pick 6 and and the punt return for a touchdown. So we clean up those mistakes. I think we'll have a really good chance to be a really, really good team.
Hamp, what is it like to have a weapon at tight end that can get as wide open as Ryan Gallen's first touchdown and that can take a screen pass 75 yards for the tying touchdown later on?
It's fun to have him as a weapon. When we're doing conditioning in the summer, usually Ryan is running with the big skill guys, so the running backs and the linebackers and those guys, and he should be running with the skill guys. He should be running with the receivers and the fastest and the DBs and fastest guys on the team, because he is one of the fastest guys on the team, and he has phenomenal speed. He has great playmaking ability, and so when you have a weapon like him, it's really, really fun.
And then also Ryan DeLuca, obviously what he did last week and kind of build off of it this week he just seems to make big plays when you guys really need him.
He does. Ryan's an excellent leader on our team too, and I trust him so much. I know if I get him the ball, he's going to be in the right place and he's going to make a big play. And so, like I said, I just got to be better. I got to get the playmakers on our offense. We have a ton of playmakers on our offense. I got to do a better job of getting those guys the ball, and they'll make plays as we saw today.
I'll just ask you too. I asked Ryan, the way you guys won this game against him, you handled pretty well last time out, but do you think in a way the way you came back and won this game could be a turning point that you look back on later on this year?
Yes, sir. First and foremost, I think this team is really special. And this team, there's something different about this team that we have. We've experienced a lot of adversity throughout all three of our first three games, and we haven't played near the best of our ability. But there's a grittiness about this team that is truly unique and special. And everyone on the team loves each other. Like Callie was saying, the defense is worried about getting their job so they can get us the ball again. And they did a phenomenal job today. And everyone's worried about the next play. How can I do well on the next play? And we couldn't score 14 points at once to get us back tied at the end of the game. But all we could do was one play at a time. And that's what we did. So I think this could be a turning point for us as a team, for sure.
Thanks, Ham.